What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Big Football Guys. It is week 9 in the NFL, so we're going to talk about some news and stuff. Honestly, this week, there wasn't a lot going on. I feel like there wasn't really a lot to cover equipment-wise, which is too bad, but it gives us some time to just talk about ourselves a little bit. What's going on with you?
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's in our lives, there's so much happening. But in the NFL world, there's not a lot that actually happened this week. As far as footballers and what we're doing, we had some pretty big milestones this week on some partnerships and things that we got to do for the first time. That's really, really cool. Obviously we did the thing with Factory Lab. And so to premiere, Jace or Jalen Ramsey's product for the first time was sick. Followed that up with, unveiling for Nike the new VaporJet 8s. So yeah, as little as what's going on in the NFL this week, we had a lot go on in what we got going on. And as you can see behind me, it's absolute disaster with the amount of packages that I have and stuff we have to do after this. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a cool time to be involved and to be watching us and to see where we go in the next 6 months. It's going to be cool.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of cool stuff coming. We're trying to kick it up a notch every single year. We've come a long way in these 2 years we've been doing this, and it's only going to keep going up from here. The more we do this, the more you guys help support us, blow this stuff up, allows us to do more fun stuff with more companies and make some really cool stuff for you guys. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Let's just jump into the news because that's pretty much all we got this week. There's honestly not a lot to talk about. So one thing I want to talk about that I found out about this week that actually happened a couple weeks ago was Brian Burns' face mask. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago with Max Crosby, and we obviously saw him switch out of his face mask because with their gray, it's super easy to see. Even for a very short period, the reason I actually caught it was he normally wears a Visus 02 with his special BA masks, trendy one. But then randomly at the beginning of the game a couple weeks ago, he switched into a Speedflex, his old helmet. That's what caught my attention. I was like, oh, okay, so then this is going on. Then he switched back to the Visus 02, but with a standard face mask. So that's what kind of triggered my my flags in my head, and that made me look into it, realize the whole stuff about NFL kind of going away from those face masks. But then I was watching the Colts-Carolina game this weekend, and I saw Brian Burns. And it's super hard because his black face mask, all his black accessories, his visor, all that stuff makes it really hard to see. But I was like, is he not wearing his now either? And so I went back in, I did a little bit of digging, and I found out he actually has been switched out of his for a little while. So it's sad, but he, where are we at here? This was it here. So Brian Burns used to wear what they called the spider face mask.
Yep.
So this is again designed by BA Masks, and BA Masks just calls it their Spider Burns in case you want to kind of get it for yourself. So this is his style here with all the jagged bars that go towards his middle. Obviously, he goes by Spida because he's a big Spider-Man fan. And that was the face mask here with some jagged eye bars as well. And the design kind of carries throughout the entire face mask. And he wore that for last year and this year. And then all of a sudden, as of October 22nd game, so 3 weeks ago, same time Max Crosby, I found this was the last time he was wearing that custom style. And on October 22nd, he switched to a standard Speedflex style, which is the SF-2EG-SW standard face mask that anyone can buy. Frustrating.
Yeah, no, that's a real bummer. Brian Burns' face mask was probably my favorite custom face mask that we've seen this season and probably ever. When I did the best helmet setups video, I'm pretty sure he was number 1, and it was largely due to that face mask. I just thought it was so cool, so unique, such a cool way for Brian Burns to kind of express himself. So it's kind of a bummer to see that the NFL forced him to switch out of it. There's not a lot of stuff guys can do these days to kind of express themselves. Brian Burns is kind of showing his love, for Spider-Man. There's just not a lot of ways for guys to do that. So
yeah,
kind of a bummer.
The other thing I literally just noticed though, and the only reason this came up is because I'm in a little fire right now, is his mouth guard. So the funny thing is, I posted about this. If you look at this photo, I didn't catch this until literally right now that he's wearing a green mouth guard on Carolina.
Yep.
Last week I actually posted about this, and it got a lot of traction this week. And I basically said, after our conversation on the last podcast talking about like the legality of different colored mouth guards, I posted a bunch of photos and just said, is this legal? Showed a bunch of different guys like we talked about, McLeod, Stephon Diggs, Lattimore, AJ Brown, showing a couple on the tight end, and now obviously Brian Burns. I took so much heat. And the reason is because I think people thought I was phrasing it like, how is the NFL allowing this? Like, what are they doing? Why haven't they cracked down on this yet? Where I actually came from it of like, so I said, anyone know how they get away with this? It was more of a genuine, does anyone know the rule and what is going on where they can do it? Where most people in the comments section took it as me snitching and saying, why haven't the NFL cracked down on this yet? NFL, like, please do something about this. And so my normal posts get, 2,500, 3,000 likes. This one got a lot of likes, and some of the highest liked comments were obviously some of the ones down here with, I think one has over 1,000 likes. Yeah, there's that one. There is the one over here that has 1,000 likes. Somewhere down here, which basically calls me a snitch, and says I would be the kid in school that would remind the teacher that we had homework. So I learned my lesson. I'm not going to ask anymore. I'm just going to let it be. But yeah, little ramble, but so we still don't know. But anyways, it's fun to see that even though that Burns lost his face mask, again, rip, still trying out a different mouth guard color.
Yeah, the mouth guard is like one of the few things you can still do, different from everybody else. So he's trying, he's trying to stand out a little bit. And
Yep.
the mouth guard's like the only way he still can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. Brian Burns is a cool guy. His stuff, like he's one of my favorite looks every single week. And I mean, that face mask was a huge part of it.
Yep.
But he's still putting it on regardless.
There's certain players that like you'd want to, or at least I'd personally want to like talk to in the NFL. And it's mostly equipment related. Like, you have these like thoughts about like, oh, I'd want to talk to my favorite player. Like, say I'm a Colts guy, Anthony Richardson or something. I'd be like, oh, I'd love to talk to him for 10 minutes. But in like reality, there's like nothing me and him can probably talk about. Like the gear is simple. You know what I mean? Like they probably don't really care that much about it. But then there's certain guys when you see like the kind of gear they wear and stuff, the Brian Burns, Jalen Ramsey, mostly receivers, cornerbacks, some linemen, Trent Williams, where it's like, damn, like me and him could sit down for a good hour and talk. You know? He'd be one of them.
Yeah. For me, dude, if I could ever talk to Odell Beckham Jr., that would be the one for me. He's one of the main reasons I ever got into this space. Being a Giants fan in 2014 when he kind of got drafted and he was doing all the cool custom cleats with Picasso and the custom face mask, the Joker gloves, all that stuff was kind of my inspiration to get into this in the first place, almost 10 years ago. So I know I could talk to him for more than hours, just like days on end, just talking about all the different cleats, the stuff he did with Nike, and just, now that he's wearing Adidas. I'm sure you guys saw that in the last podcast. I could talk to OBJ for so long about so many things. That'd be incredible.
And like people forget about, at least with OBJ, like they look at him as like a washed up guy now that's on the Ravens and like whatever, but like people don't think about like what he actually contributed to like the football culture and how it changed things. Because everything that he did is just standard now, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you look here at a good example, check out Stephon Diggs face mask.
Yep.
This face mask was originally a custom style made by OBJ on his speed, that instead of having the straight bars here, it had the jagged bar to increase visibility, and then it just became a standard. Scrunch socks. Literally look at AJ Brown. I don't know if you can see in any of the photos here, but AJ Brown wears scrunch socks, and OBJ brought that in and made it super popular in the league a year ago. Custom cleats everywhere now. It's a massive business. He was the first to do it. Like,
yeah, he really changed the game, man. He really did.
Yeah.
Everything he did was so unique at the time, and now, like you said, it's the standard. We see all these guys doing this. With the Rams, he started wearing the double arm sleeve. And now you see that all over the place. He's a trendsetter. Simple as that. No matter what he does, people are going to want to follow him because it's just so cool. It's so unique. And I love OBJ, man. It broke my heart a little bit when we traded him to Cleveland.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I get it.
Oh, well. Another fun OBJ story. One time, I was we were with Nike for the Super Bowl weekend. I believe this was the one in Miami, and they said we might have a chance to interview OBJ. He was in the same building as us. We didn't get a chance, which was unlucky. So there was almost a chance. There was almost an opportunity for me to talk to OBJ, but didn't work out. But I did get to interview Cooper Kupp and Stephon Gilmore. So pretty cool still.
Yeah. And then the year before that was when you did Russell Wilson, right? Because
Yeah.
you went
So
to two. There was one you met Russ.
yeah. So the one in Atlanta, Super Bowl 53, I met Russell Wilson. I met Cameron Jordan. We interviewed them about the Alpha line, Russ for the Alpha line, and then Cameron Jordan for the Force Savage line. I met Devontae Adams, Tariq Cohen, Calvin Ridley, Kenyon Drake. There's some others I can't remember, but it was incredible. Looking back, it literally was like a dream.
How old were you?
So that was my freshman year of college. So I was 18.
Jeez.
Or no, I was 19. I was 19.
Yeah.
I was 19.
Okay.
But yeah, so 19. Hanging out in this big city with all these big stars, it was super surreal. I'll never forget those experiences.
Did you actually go to both games, or were you just on site for stuff?
No, we actually got to go to both games, which was incredible. It was kind of like a last-minute scramble for the Atlanta one. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to get tickets, and then like a couple hours before the game, Nike was able to get some, and we got to go to the game, and it was awesome. Actually, I mean, the game itself, that was the Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. I think the final was like 17-10. It was one of the most boring Super Bowls of all time, but it was a Super Bowl, and that's something a lot of people never get to see. So super, super grateful to have experienced that.
Little soapbox moment, but how crazy is it that we're 10 times bigger than we were then, and we can't even get our hands on a Nike cleat now?
I know it. It's tricky. We'll figure it out. We'll find our way in. That's what we do. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we always get the job done one way or another.
Yeah. So next up, little piece of news just to follow up to last week was Kyler Murray. So at this point, this is the assumption we're rolling with. So last week we talked about how Dick's Sporting Goods released the date for his cleats. Now Adam Schefter goes on the Pat McAfee show on Mondays to talk about, obviously everything news related. And they were talking about, because of Kyler Murray being activated within that 23-day window, this would be the week where they had to activate him. I think it was. And so Schefter said, they plan on, now that Josh Dobbs has been shipped out and is with the Vikings, this will be the week that Kyler Murray is now activated to the 53-man roster. So we are going to assume he is going to be starting on Sunday. And like I said here, is he?
I'm pretty sure he got the start. I could be wrong.
All right, let's see. Kyler Murray.
He's projected for points on my fantasy team.
Starting for Cardinals. Kyler Murray activated in line to start Sunday off PUP.
Cardinals to
1
start
day ago.
QB Kyler Murray against Falcons.
Okay. So it's confirmed since I posted this. That's nice. So he'll be starting. And again, we don't know if it's good timing, as they pushed it all the way till the end to make sure that they would release these right at the end of his PUP window. But Kyler Murray will be starting this weekend, and his cleats drop on Friday.
Yep. So his cleats, they drop this Friday, November 10th. Those are the cleats, those nice rose gold dunks. I'm super excited for K1 to come back. He's kind of become the face of Nike, I feel like, these last couple of years. And he hasn't really played as good as I'm sure Nike would have hoped. And a lot of people are like, why is this the guy they chose to be the face of their football brand? But I love Kyler Murray. I can't wait to see him come back. I think he's one of the most exciting players in football. I've had him stashed in my IR spot on my fantasy football team since I think 4 weeks ago. So I'm ready for him to come back and win me this fantasy title for sure.
Nice.
But yeah. One thing
They're,
I do want to talk about. What's up?
There you go.
Oh, yeah. So one thing I do kind of want to talk about is, isn't it kind of annoying that Nike keeps releasing these cleats at this time? Like, it's November. A lot of, high school football team seasons are wrapping up right about now. if not, by Thanksgiving. So why does it, how does it make sense to release this cleat with like just a couple weeks left in the season? It doesn't make any sense.
You know what's funny? There's literally someone that commented that on my post and said like, "Yo, my high school season wrapped up yesterday." But let's
Yeah.
see what they said. I remember I briefly saw the comment and I responded to it. Let's delete these so we can keep this going. They said, "Why do they always drop new cleats when high school seasons are ending?" Right. And it got me thinking about that and part of the struggle that they have, because like it's really not timed well from like a marketing machine versus like a consuming aspect. Because like if you're Nike and your big obviously thing is your NFL athletes, you want to be releasing new products with them and new marketing materials and testing stuff and doing stuff like midway through the season like they are right now, right? Everyone knows who they are. Some of the big injuries have already gone out of the way. They can pull stuff from them. Some of those early season, preseason injuries, that stuff's dealt with. And now that the hype is building towards playoff pushes and rankings and all that stuff, teams are starting to fall in line. Breakout stars are coming. Now is when they have their athletes that they can push with, especially their rookie athletes who are starting to have their breakout years. So it's like from a marketing standpoint, Nike, Adidas, anyone, Adidas is still releasing colorways. They release their Spider-Man, they release their their Disney.
Yep.
They want to be releasing and doing marketing and pushes mid-season, right? Last year, Nike did the Panda Dunks with all those different athletes. That was a massive activation they did to do the Panda Dunks with Micah Parsons and Saquon and all those dudes. And like we bought them, but like we're not playing anymore. And everyone buying these cleats now, for the most part, that is not us, is buying them and then holding on to them for spring, for workouts, for next fall. Like it's just weird that from a peak from a consumer perspective, Nike's ideal window to be posting and marketing football cleats is June and July, right? Do their marketing push. Everyone will buy it in August, ready for the high school season, biggest of them all. But that just doesn't work that way. Like they're not advertising. They're not going to release the K1s when in preseason, in the third preseason game when Kyler plays the first half, you know what I mean? Like with most of these like superstars that they want to advertise with. So it's like, it's really not timed well between those two things. And there's literally no way to fix it. This isn't like, I'm not faulting Nike. Like I don't know how you fix this cycle.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I guess I didn't really think about it like that. There is, more of an opportunity to market during the season than before the season. So I guess it must make sense to them, numbers wise to push stuff while their guys are playing. And then I guess they must sell more during the season than they do at the beginning of the season. Because like you said, people buy it and hold on to it. I guess it's just different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot different from when I was a kid because I would, I'd buy my cleats like a week before the season started. I wouldn't even really, at the time I wasn't obsessed with cleats and cleats weren't as big as they are now, but like I wouldn't buy mine until a week before and then I'd put them on, wear them, and that would be that.
Yeah.
So it is fun to see how these companies, how they strategize and how they kind of decide to do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the way it is. What else we got? What do we got going next?
Yeah, so speaking of, Nike releasing stuff, this next thing we're going to talk about, they kind of release in a spot that makes a little bit more sense, and that's going to be the next Nike VaporJet. This is going to be the 8.0. So this past weekend, Nike kind of debuted it with a couple of their star wide receivers. The first one is going to be Jamar Chase, and then the second one is going to be Cooper Kupp. So both these guys got their hands on the next gen of the Nike VaporJet 8, or next gen of the Nike VaporJet. And so this is, what they look like. This is a photo. This is Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
This is his magma colorway. I think we lost it here. Where'd it go?
Oh, did you lose it?
Oh, maybe it's just me.
Here,
oh, there we go. Oh, I saw it for a second. Regardless, I actually have a pair. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but we have a pair of Jamar Chase's Magma PEs here. They are 3XL. We're going to drop, or we already dropped some content on them. What am I saying? On the Instagram there. And then there's some of the cool details if you guys Want to check that out. It's got his logo on the inside, 3XL. But this is the next Nike VaporJet football glove. So it's been a while. People are always kind of complaining that Nike doesn't really change them. But this pair, I feel like it's got a decent amount of changes. Obviously, we're going to do kind of a whole video comparing the 7.0 to the 8.0, so I don't want to give you guys too much right now. But the strap's a little different. They expanded the grip, so there's more grip surface area. And then the back of hand material is a little bit cooler. I know that's all very vague, but we do want you guys to watch the video when we release it, so I can't give you all the secrets right now. So yeah, he warmed up in the VaporJet 8.0. He wore them in the Magma colorway, and he also wore a black colorway to warm up in. And then I think for game time, he switched back into the 7.0s. So not sure what that means. Jamar Chase is real weird about his gear. He seems to wear different gear every half of football he plays, cleats and gloves. So he's in the 8.0s in that picture. I can't really tell.
Yeah. So timeline. So he started in these. He started in the Magma with the matching Magma cleats so that they had done up and made to match it. So he started in the matching set. Then after that, he switched into the all black look. So I think there's another photo. No, maybe he only pre-gamed it then. I thought he wore the black in the game as well. But let's see, that one he's still wearing it. So here he's wearing the Magma as well. Then he switched into, yes, this is game time. Beginning of the game, he switched into the 8.0s with an all black, and then matching the all black his cleats. And then pretty quick after, he switched into his 7.0s. Which is odd.
Yeah. That's weird. So, Jamar Chase is one of their big athletes that helps them launch the gloves every single year. So, from a Nike standpoint, it's definitely got to be a bummer to see, the face of your gloves switch out of your newest innovation on, one of the biggest stages in football. This was Sunday Night Football. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So they played on Sunday Night Football, and he switched out of their glove that they're supposed to be marketing that weekend. So that's got to kind of be a little annoying for Nike,
I mean, it's always funny how, like, when we do these things with companies, it's like, okay, we're going to promote that they're wearing this on pregame, or they're wearing it for the actual game, or like whatever it is. And then we'll do our video. We're like, yeah, watch out for Jamar Chase wearing these. Or like last week, it's like, watch out for Juju Smith wearing these in pregame. And then like the athlete sometimes just doesn't do it, or like they will do it for seconds. So that way they can get the photos, probably so they can send it to, Nike or Adidas or whatever, to say that like they fulfilled their like brand obligation, whatever it would be. And then they switch into their other stuff.
Yeah, man. Athletes are tricky, I feel bad for these marketing guys. They come up with this genius plan. It takes months to kind of come up with a rollout and like athletes to feature the product. And then, it all kind of crumbles when the athlete's like, I don't really feel like wearing these today.
Yep.
Definitely feel for the poor marketing guys trying to set it all up.
On a whim. Yeah. The interesting thing with it is that, especially like with the VaporJet 7s, Jamar Chase has like, how do I say this? There's been a lot of Nike athletes that have preferred the 6.0s over the 7.0s. And they made changes to make them more... Am I echoing? So anyways, they made changes to make it more similar to the 6.0, and that way more people would be happy, right? So, but I guess maybe Jamar wasn't one of them. I don't know, like, because maybe he switched back to his 7s. Because the interesting one is Cooper Kupp, because he was also part of this rollout. So it was Cooper Kupp and Jamar. And you can see Cooper Kupp in pregame and in the actual game. He wore his VaporJet 8s with the matching, again, same thing. They did up a pair of cleats to match it. So they basically did that. And Cooper Kupp never wore his 7.0s. Like, we did a video about his VaporJet 7.0s, and he did not like wear them once, which is why we had them. Like, he stayed in his 6.0s year over year. But like, he switched, he stayed in the 7.0s, or sorry, his 6.0s, and then game time comes and he stayed in the 8.0s as well. So it's like clear that, obviously, like I said, you just never know with these athletes what they're going to pick on a day-to-day basis and what they're going to do.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Cooper Kupp, I mean, shout out to him for kind of sticking to Nike's plan. and actually wearing the gloves, but it definitely speaks to like how similar that these gloves feel to the 6.0 because like you mentioned, Cooper Cup kind of got he got the VaporJet 7.0 PEs, but he never wore them. He just
No.
stuck with the 6s, and now he's made the switch to the 8s. So that kind of tells me that it's a similar glove, but definitely a lot of tweaks on these. Like I said, we're super excited to get into these. They are really cool. I can't wait, dude. But
And not
yeah,
just the
shout out to Cooper
VaporJet
Cup.
8s, the whole VaporJet family.
Hmm?
It's a little teaser. I said the whole VaporJet family, not just the 8s.
Oh, okay.
Little tease.
A little bit. We know stuff, guys. But yeah, thank you for your dates.
Yeah.
Oh, picked up the bag. These are sticky. They just picked up the bag too. But they're gonna retail for $65. That's what the pack says. But this is also like a special colorway. But $65 is kind of insane. But that's down the line. We don't have to worry about that until they release in March, February. I forgot. All right, that's enough glove talk. Now it's time to talk about cleats, which are so cool. Let's talk about some cleats. Let's talk about the best Cleat Heat from Week 9 of the NFL season. So up first, what was this athlete's name? I already forgot his name. I tried to find, so this guy, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but I tried to find this guy, right? I checked the roster. There is no 38 on the active roster. And then I checked the practice squad, and then he was there, but I forgot his name. So it's something like Innis, as crazy as that sounds. 38 on Packers. It's in my recently searched. How absurd. His name is Innis Gaines. So that's
Innis
Innis.
Gaines.
That's Innis Gaines right there. Yeah, so what did he wear? I already forgot. He wore, there they are. So he wore a pair of Nike Dunks. I think they're inspired by the those lobster Nike SB Dunks with the band on the toe box. But this one is kind of like a Packers iteration of it. So they're yellow, and then you've got the green band on there. These are really cool. I forgot who customized them. It was a customizer I had never featured before. I can't remember his name. I know he's tagged.
The Crook.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him before, but we do the research. I always try to pay respect to the artists. But these are cool cleats. I like them. They go well with the Packers uniforms, and yeah, they get a thumbs up for me. What do we got next?
Cool.
But, all right, so next one, we've got Byron Murphy in a pair of Air Jordan 1 lows, but they kind of, the artist removed, I think it's Sean the Don, he removed the swooshes and replaced it with like hearts. If you zoom in, you can kind of see they're pretty cool. It's like a subtle thing, but it goes really well with the rest of his drip. So I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's simple, it's effective. I like it.
Yeah.
And then the next one we've got is the face of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. So Mahomes and the Chiefs played over in Germany. So Adidas hooked them up with some kind of Germany-inspired football cleats. So as you guys can see, they are the colors of the German flag, and they're also the colors of the Chiefs. So it kind of worked out in a cool little way. I think they're pretty cool. What do you think of these?
Yeah, it's cool. So we actually have a video coming out. We have Patrick Mahomes PE cleats. That video should be dropping in a couple days, where we kind of walk through all of his different cleats he's worn this year. The only ones we don't have is these. And yeah, he got lucky. Like, it's cool that, again, with the Chiefs colors being black, white, red, yellow, you can easily do the German flag. And so they whipped up a really cool pair of cleats for him. We didn't have a lot of time in the video to talk about it, so like we can talk about it quickly here. So his cleats are a PE. In years past, Patrick used to wear the Freak 21 Ultras. So in 2021 or whatever it was, I guess, yeah. They added the Freak Ultra, which was basically the Freak with a Ultra Boost sole and a prime knit material. Easily like one of the most comfortable cleats I've ever worn. I gave them away. I wish I didn't. I wish I still had them. They were so sick. And Patrick wore those for the last 2 years because last year the Freak 22 Ultras, they did the high top laceless design. That one wasn't super popular because your foot kind of shifts around a lot in it, and it just wasn't honestly that big of a hit. But it was different, and that was the point of it, was to show like laceless tech. This year they switched back, middle ground. So the Freak 23 Ultras are a lower cut cleat with the Ultra Boost again, and they've kind of changed the design, although still laceless, to make them a little bit better as far as the fit when you're wearing them. Now, for Patrick's PEs here, he upgraded to the Freak 23 Ultras, but they got rid of the laceless, and then they basically just added laces to it. So they just got rid of like the ghost, the shield over top, added laces, and it's the Freak 23 Ultra, same traction plate, same boost midsole, same bounce insole, everything else. Again, same upper. The only difference is that they basically just took it and added laces to it so he could get it tighter than the laceless version, which is the retail version. Honestly, I wish they did this. Like, these would legit be my favorite cleats on the market if they made, as a player, a laced version of the Ultras. As a coach, I love the laceless because it's easy to slip on and off. But I wish they had a laced version like Patrick gets.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. It's kind of fun to see how these companies like push the envelope and like try stuff that nobody's ever done, and then for their athletes they kind of revert to their old stuff that they know they already like.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun. Similar. I mean, kind of a tangent, but similar with Juju. Juju kind of has like a hybrid cleat that's a combination of a couple different Addy Zeros. Taking different aspects from each one.
It's like 3 different cleats. It's like the prime knit of the Adizero 10. It's the upper of like or it's the traction plate of the 12, I think. Or no, it's the older Scorch plate.
Yeah.
Or the what's it called? The sprint frame,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but then over top of that cleat, then they put the graphics of the Adizero and stuff of the 13s.
Yeah.
So it's like he wanted all the old school stuff as far as the prime knit, the way the booty of it and stuff, but then they put all like the new school kind of graphics and overlays onto it.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I wish we could do a video just kind of. I mean, maybe maybe we will someday, but just kind of like diving into how these companies go about making these special PEs for their athletes, because it's really fascinating to see, all the measures that they take and all the specific stuff that these athletes want in their gear. That'd be a fun video. But next up on our Cleat Heat, absolutely. Next up on our Cleat Heat, we have the man, the myth, the legend. He's on here pretty often. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. This week, he rolled with a pair of Jordan 11 PEs. These are really cool. This is Salute to Service Month. Yeah. So we're in Salute to Service Month. That's a hard thing to say. Salute to Service Month. Salute to Service Month. All right. You guys know what month it is. But they're like a nice tan, Salute to Service Month colorway. The details are pretty cool too, but I couldn't find any like up close shots, so you guys can't really see super clearly. But they're cool. Take my word for it. But yeah, I mean, these are sweet. Big fan of these. All right. Next up on the Cleat Heat, we have Dak Prescott. So he wore a cool pair of Jordan 1s. It's kind of hard to tell, but the blue part has like a cool texture on it. Again, just like Jalen Hurts, I couldn't really find like an up close, good detailed shot of these, but they look pretty cool. Honestly, I wouldn't really have included these cleats most weeks, but this week, as far as Cleat Heat, was kind of weak. We talked about it a little bit in the introduction part of this video. There wasn't a lot of cool stuff out there this week. Not a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Not a ton of cool cleats, but these are on there. They're Jordans. They're PEs. They're cool. People like them, so I tossed them on here for you guys. I know a lot of people.
We got a really good shot of these when he stepped out of bounds on the 2.
Oh, right. Good point. Silly
Perfect
Dak.
shot of the toe box.
Silly Dak. I could do a whole podcast hating on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, but I won't do that. Let's just roll to the next pair of cleats, shall we? All right, so next up, we've got Quan Alexander of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Quan had kind of a game-sealing interception on Thursday Night Football, I believe. Who were they playing? I can't remember who they were playing. They're playing – who's a young quarterback? Will Levis, Titans. They're playing the Titans. And so I got to remember what these are called. These are customs by Coda Customs, so I got to hop on over to his Instagram. There's some kind of like air foam posit, but this is not a shoe that I'm familiar with. They kind of remind me of like a fish, like a clownfish, like Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
So let's see. Coda says these are Nike Air Flight Posit 3s. Whatever that means, I'm sure some of you like super sneaker geeks out there know what that is. I thought they were cool just because they're so unique, and he made a big play in them, so I figured they'd be worth putting up here for you guys. But pretty cool. Kind of a weird looking shoe though. Next up, what's his name? Oh man, I'm gonna sound so rude, but his name's like Keshawn Nixon, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
Either way, he's wearing some Converse. We've seen this in the past, and it's one of my favorite, cleat styles that we've seen on the gridiron. Because Converse Classic Chuck, can't go wrong with these, and then they're painted up in a nice green and white colorway. These are custom painted by arts_undefined on Instagram. Great guy, makes a lot of cleats for a lot of your favorite athletes, so definitely check him out if you haven't already. But these are sweet. I love these. So simple, so clean. Works great with the Packers uniform. Next up, we got a Colt. So we got Tony's favorite team. We got Michael Pittman Jr. So these cleats are pretty cool. They're Nike Vapor Edge 360 Pro 2s, but they're kind of painted/designed to look like the Travis Scott High Fragment, I want to say. Like, I know shoes, but not like that good. But I'm pretty sure that's what they are. So you've got the reverse Travis swoosh on the outside, and then he's got his number 11 on the inside in that blue, white, and black colorway. Really simple, really clean, goes really nicely with the Colts uniforms. It's always cool to see like an iconic shoe represented on the football field. So these are sweet. As a Colts fan, you rocking with these?
Yeah, they're cool. How did they make? Because it's a Vapor Edge Pro, right? Or wait, is it an Elite?
So that looks to be the Vapor Edge 360 Pro 2.
Yeah. Because I think I'm looking at the Pro because I see the vent holes underneath the 11.
Yeah.
Right. So we know it's a Pro. But then did they add? They left obviously that, but then did they add an upper to it to make it look like a high top, or is it just like deceivingly painted to be a high top?
My guess is that they're deceivingly painted. I think the artist is tagged if you want to click on his profile, and he might have a better photo of the cleats.
Let's go over here.
Oh, yeah, he does. He's got a reel.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they're just deceivingly painted. Oh, they look way more like lifelike from that photo. Like from here, yeah, it's obviously clearly. But from that other photo, it looks like a leather upper that was added.
Yeah.
Nice big swoosh. That's cool.
It's good work. I mean, as long as it looks good on the football field, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are cool. What do we got next? I can't remember.
Last one. 2 more. Nope. Yep, 2 more.
So next one we should have is Breece Hall of the New York Jets. We've seen these customs kind of before from other guys. These are another pair of Travis Scotts. So these are inspired by the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Phantom, I believe they're called. So they're just all black with the reverse swoosh. Super simple, super cool. These are customs by Sean the Don. We talk about him all the time. A lot of cool cleats. Total reconstruction. So it's like a whole new cleat built on top of what appears to be the Vapor Edge 360 Pro 2s. Yeah. Yep. And then super clean, all black. Looks good with these Jets uniforms. They've got the black pants. He's got mostly black sock. A little bit of white. But a clean look nonetheless. I was a fan of these for sure. And I think Isaiah Simmons of the Giants wore like the same pair, but I didn't want to put the same pair of cleats on twice, so I didn't. And then last
those Phantoms have been popping up a lot.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch. Yeah, a lot of different guys. I mean, it's just such an easy look because they're all black. You don't have to worry about any, rules, breaking any rules wearing those. So makes sense.
Yeah.
So our final one, do we have it up? Okay. So our final one we've got is Cordarrelle Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons. So I don't really know what these are. I just thought they were cool and they stood out. And he's probably not allowed to wear these because they don't really follow any of the color rules. So funny how that works. Either way. What?
Did you post Cordarrelle a couple weeks ago? Like, I swear he did something similar where we were like, those are clearly not legal.
Yeah, so last week he wore like a SpongeBob and Patrick pair. If you go to my last Cleat Heat, it's on there somewhere, yeah. So he's been kind of getting away with just wearing whatever cleats he wants. I'm not really sure how. So, I don't know, kind of weird. But, hey, if you can get away with it, why not, right? But yeah, Cordarrelle Patterson. I don't know what these... not too bad. I mean, I don't know. We've had better Cleat Heat weeks in the past for sure.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? Hopefully next year they bring it back. Like these guys, a lot of the guys who are usually on here, let me think. What's his name? Kareem Jackson. He got suspended, so he's not going to be on here. Quincy Williams. What did Quincy Williams wear? I think he wore Phantoms too. Jordan 1 Travis Scott Phantom, so I couldn't put him on. a lot of guys who are usually on here just either didn't wear something that cool or they wore something they've already worn. I guess we're kind of hitting that point of the season where like it's mid-season. It's like, you know, the home stretch. Guys are just trying to play football, and they're not really caring as much as they did in the earlier weeks of the season.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's your Cleat Heat. A lot of fun stuff.
There's the whole episode.
Yeah, wait, hang on, I need the light. And that's going to pretty much do it for this episode of Big Football Guys. Like we said, not a ton of stuff going on. Hopefully next week's a little bit more fun, and we'll have Evan back, so we'll have some stuff to talk about. But yeah, that's going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, like this video, comment what you guys want us to talk about in the next episode, and subscribe, of course, for more videos just like this one. That'll do it.
Peace.
Nice.